Good evening. Millions of people mourned the tragic death of John Lennon today. The young and the middle-aged shared a sense of grief over the inexplicable slaying of Lennon, murdered by a young man who'd been a fan of Lennon and the Beatles for the last 15 years. The killing took place last night as Lennon and his wife, Yoko Ono, were entering their Manhattan apartment house called the Dakota. Crowds gathered soon after, and many just stayed outside. Stephen Fraser reports.
They kept a vigil all day, making a shrine of the Dakota, where John Lennon and his wife Yoko Ono owned 5 apartments. Some mourners brought bouquets. Former Beatle Ringo Starr flew from Europe to console Lennon's wife and their 5-year-old son. The crowd stood just a few feet from the archway near where Lennon was shot. Witnesses said a gunman followed the Lennons as they got out of a limousine and walked past the Dakota's huge iron gate.
This individual, Mr. Chapman, came up behind him and called to him, Mr. Lennon, as he arrived at that doorway. And then in a combat stance, he emptied the Charter Arms .38 caliber gun that he had with him and shot John Lennon.
Lennon died before police could get him to a hospital 1 mile away. His attacker made no attempt to flee. He was arrested at the Dakota and was moved under heavy guard because of fears for his safety. Police say he is Mark David Chapman, 25, who came to New York a week ago. He stayed at a YMCA and had been asking questions about Lennon. The New York Daily News has a picture made 6 hours before the shooting, which shows Lennon autographing the album cover of his latest recording for Chapman, who had waited outside Lennon's home. Chapman entered no plea when he was charged with Lennon's murder late today. He was sent to a hospital for psychiatric examination and will be watched around the clock in case he tries to commit suicide. An assistant district attorney told the court Chapman borrowed a large amount of money and came to New York with the sole intention of killing John Lennon. Stephen Fraser, NBC News.